Okay, I'd like to bring to order. Today is Tuesday, May 22nd. The Council Budget and Finance Fiscal 2018-2019 operating budget hearings. To the audience, viewers, Metro Department heads, personnel, Budget and Finance Committee members, and Metro Council members, we will be discussing the fiscal year 2018-2019 Metro Council operating budget. I also want to take this opportunity to publicly thank the Director of Finance, Ms. Lomax O'Neill, and her team, staff for working diligently, and the council staff for working diligently to ensure we have our materials. Remember, per rule, today we were discussing operating budget only. In consideration of time, for Budget and Finance Committee members will be recognized first, and time permitting, all other council members will be recognized. If there are additional questions that exceeds beyond the allotted time for the hearings, you can email those questions directly to the respective departments, copying myself, Mr. Jameson, and Danielle. We will compile those questions and answers and have those uploaded to the SharePoint. That ensures that we're all on the same accord. Starting today with our budget hearings, we have Parks and Recreation. We had a director, Ms. Odom. I'll go ahead and turn it over to you. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Budget and Finance Committee members and Metro Council members. I'd first like to acknowledge our Park Board members who are in the audience. We have Vice Chair Stan Fossick and Park Board member Terry Hughes. Also in the audience are members of our senior staff, Janet Frazier, Jim Hester, Sherry Hips, Stevon Nellums, John Holmes, Jackie Jones, Captain Chris Taylor, Rick Taylor, and Shanita White. And here with me on the platform are Cindy Harrison, who leads our Open Space and Greenways Division, and Tim Nate, who leads our Planning and Facilities Development Division. Well, this has been a great year for Metro Parks. A few of our accomplishments have been the development of two major master plans for new regional parks, that's Southeast and Ravenwood, the long-awaited opening of Fort Nashboro. We broke ground for Ozafron Park and are looking forward to the grand opening in the next few weeks. Completed the archaeological evaluation for Greer Stadium, and we began major renovations to Oakwood Park. In the next few weeks, we will open three major facilities for the city. Madison and Smith Springs Regional Community Centers will open this spring. Madison features a new soccer field with lights, a new playground, walking trail, and parking lot, and that facility will open on May 31st. Smith Springs will include a playground, walking trail, parking lot, and 3-lane swimming pool, and that facility will open on June 23rd. The Hadley Park Tennis Facility. This new building will operate as a freestanding facility serving the growing tennis population in the city, while also enhancing our opportunity to provide tournaments, instruction, and recreational tennis. It replaces the old tennis bubble that many in North Nashville are so familiar with. Phase 1 of the I-440 Greenway also opens this summer. The first phase will connect Centennial and Elmington Parks. Ultimately, this 7-mile greenway will link 6 parks, create new green spaces, and reconnect 14 diverse historic neighborhoods divided by the interstate. Then, Phase 2 of the Centennial Park Master Plan begins this summer. The park is slated for a new underground drainage and irrigation system, concrete paths lined by large native trees, new lighting for the Parthenon, restoration of the band shell, replacing the events pavilion, and installation of a new gate and plantings at the West End entrance. These improvements will require the closing of the Great Lawn at some point. In other areas of our department, we have maximum enrollment again this year in our summer enrichment programs at community centers. We've expanded our Teaching Kitchens outreach program to all community centers. That program is a collaborative effort between Metro Parks and the Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt. This program offers children and their families skills in the preparation of nutritious and affordable meals and snacks to promote healthy eating habits. We will operate several summer camps in music, theater, dance, and tennis. And we are excited about our very first Teen Summer Basketball League, which is a collaboration between Metro Parks, Metro Schools, and Metro Police. It's called CRAFT, which stands for Critical Thinking, Resilience, Awareness, Fundamentals, and Teamwork. The goal is to deter youth violence in our city. It will serve 576 girls and boys throughout our city. The program kicks off June 8th at Glencliff High School. Our disabilities program will travel to Seattle, Washington to participate in the 2018 Special Olympics USA Games. Our disabilities program offers a supervised recreation program for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities and has done so for more than 40 years. The Parthenon and the Centennial Arts Center have a variety of exhibits and events planned throughout the year. Those at the Arts Center are free. Metro Parks has full-service nature centers and visitor centers at Beeman, Bells Bend, Fort Negley, Shelby Bottoms, and Warner Parks. These centers directly serve thousands of parks visitors year-round. In addition to offering almost 4,000 educational and recreation programs to over 80,000 people each year, these centers provide a wide range of important services to park visitors on a daily basis. Last year, over 140,000 visitors were served through Nature Center and Visitor Center programs and services. Our Park Police Division currently has 3 recruits in the academy right now. They will graduate in June. Our park police continue to do an extraordinary job in keeping our parks and greenways safe. Among other projects, our maintenance division has completed upgrades and renovations to Hamilton Creek Marina, where we renovated 172 sailboat slips to the 40-year-old facility. Luby Theater, where we replaced the old seats and carpeting, and they installed heat and air in 4 gyms that did not have HVAC. As you can see from all of that, our department is very busy. We continue to be busy, and even for those divisions that I did not mention, there's always behind-the-scene work going on. So we plan to stay busy, and want to thank all the citizens for enjoying the parks, and I also want to take this time to give a special thanks to all the men and women in the Parks Department who serve the city and are dedicated to our department and our city. With that, I will entertain questions.
Any council members seeking recognition? Vice Chair Schulman.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Director. A couple of questions that I was looking for. How many parks do we have in the system? How many actual parks would we have in the entire Nashville system?
About 185, is that right? About 185.
185, okay.
Yeah.
All right, and we have two new ones coming online, 2 community centers that are coming online. Sorry, not parks, but 2 community centers coming online. So obviously, for purposes, and we've been doing this, Councilman Glover and I continue to do this kind of back and forth. What we're trying to be careful of is, because of a tight budget, next year. So obviously, there's a lot of good things going on at parks, which are great, but we're planning different things, and the question, not necessarily the concern, but the question is, as we plan these things and start constructing things, what should we be looking at next year in terms of purposes of extra expenses? Are there any things that are coming online at this point that will be coming online that we need to know about this year, because we got a tight budget this year? We don't know what next year is going to look like.
I don't think that there's anything coming online that we don't already know about that we can prepare for. What I would say is that our budget is very lean, and it has been lean for a long time. And as you well know, the park system spans the entire county, and we have a lot of parks, a lot of property, a lot of facilities. So I would say rather than looking at new, taking care of what we already have would be a priority.
Okay, and that's fine. I think, again, I'm not speaking for Councilman Glover, but what we're trying to do is make sure that we're being cautious as we look at next year's budget. If we're doing something this year that is going to create needs for extra money next year, we know about it now, so we don't get caught off guard.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I will just say, as far as the recommended budget, the funding for Madison and Smith Springs, that's staffing and operations, and that is to complete the full year funding. So
Right.
This fiscal year, FY18, you all approved, I think it was 4 months of funding, and this is the remaining 8 months. Of
Right. So, and I remember that because we were asking about that last time. We realized that this year around, we're going to have to fully fund it, and that's what we're seeing, and that's, we understand that.
Right.
But what we're watching for, you don't have any more 6-month positions that we're going to fully fund next year.
No, we do not.
This is what it is.
No, we don't.
Okay. All right. I think that's it. Thank you.
Welcome.
Councilman Cooper, at large. I like saying that.
At large, like Councilman Schulman. So great to have you all here. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
You're
And
Vice
everybody
Chair,
in Parks.
Jim.
Vice Chair Schulman. And a couple of things. I was hoping that you would extend the inventory of all these jewels that we have, that you were starting with, Councilman. I mean, how many community centers and other facilities, if you would,
Okay.
if you would just go over that. And then concluding with a quick question in terms of community centers. What revenue would you expect a community center to be able to produce? Is it essentially very little, or is there some revenue back that comes back to the parks for an average community? There is no average community center.
So I will say, first off, for a community center, a regional community center where revenue is captured, it would primarily be for classes and the fitness center. That's primarily where the revenue comes from. So it's not a lot for community centers. And so in terms of the number, you all are going to have to help me out a little bit, but in terms of numbers of community centers, we have 26, is that right, 26 or 27? Smith Springs. Okay, the 27. Okay, so 27, including Smith Springs. Nature centers, we have 4. What is it? Parthenon, Wave Country Sportsplex, 7 golf courses, Hamilton Creek Marina.
About 85 miles of greenway trail, over 200 miles of trail.
Mr. Nate, can you use your microphone for the viewing audience? Thank you so much.
About 87 miles now of greenway trail. Thanks, Cindy. 200 plus miles of trail total, 7 dog parks.
Historical sites. How many? 4 or 5.
We can provide you with that master list of facility types.
But to be more focused, so the Sevier Park Community Center would contribute on the order of
It's a regional community center, so maybe, maybe $75,000.
just okay.
Yeah, not-
And the expenses associated with that would be several hundred thousand?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. It
Okay.
would, because it's staffing, operations, utilities, and those types of, expenses, yes.
And then finally, the Bellevue High School land purchase for the high school, I'm a little bit out of date. Did that end up happening? And wasn't Parks going to be
We were going to be involved in that. Metro Schools did the purchase.
all of it?
All of it.
Okay, so that's not on your books
Right.
anymore.
Correct.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Director.
Thank you, Councilman Cooper. At large. Council Lady Allen.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the Parks folks for all y'all do and for being at the grand reopening of the Dragon. It was a great event, and we sure appreciate your support of the Neighborhood Association and that wonderful public-private partnership and getting that happening again. When we talk about the community centers, some of them have recently been upgraded and are absolutely lovely, and some of them are in line for that. Is there a sequence of when those are going to happen, and do you kind of hope to do one a year, or do we have any kind of outline for that?
Currently, based on previous capital funding, we are working on preliminary design plans for replacement of the Old Hickory Community Center in Councilman Hager's district. A firm list of priorities for replacement of the community centers has not been established. Plan to Play does identify which of them would be expanded or renovated to the regional level. We have 3 tiers of community centers. Neighborhood community centers, which, as Monique said, are not really a revenue-producing type of facility. Regionals, which are the ones that people have come to think of as a community center these days: Sevier, McCabe, East, Hadley. And then Plan to Play also recommends mega community centers, more for the sort of the outlying ring of suburban parts of the county. So Plan to Play lists what should happen where at each of those centers and where new ones should go. And we've looked at more of a 5-year timeline for priorities. So, for example, Easley Center in Rose Park is a high priority for replacement as a regional.
And while we're waiting, is there any possibility of any sprucing up? Or, I mean, I know it's kind of hard to do that and then tear it up a year or two later.
I'll just say, as of right now, we are kind of in reactive mode.
Gotcha.
And so I think we put AC in the gym over there not too long ago. And so there's some possibilities, particularly if something happens, unfortunately, we'd have to react.
Deal with it. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Councilman Glover.
Thank you, Chair. Well, I'm going to ask a lot of questions because, quite frankly, I'm glad we're quoting a reactionary mode now, but we haven't been that way on our side of town. What we've done is we've spent a lot of money, and now we're in trouble. Financially, our city's in trouble because we can't accommodate the COLAs. We can't accommodate a number of things. We bought Ravenwood. Anybody know exactly when that was we bought that?
I don't know what years.
I want to say it was 7 or 8 years ago. Actually, it was probably maybe 6 or 7 years ago that we bought that. Then we bought land behind Ravenwood, and we've done nothing with the property out there. So when the question comes up, how do we put the priorities? My question is how exactly do we do the priorities? And how is it that the Donaldson Hermitage area actually sees benefit for the money we spent? Because we spent millions out there. And so, now all of a sudden, now we're looking at doing something, but now we're in a financial crunch. So the challenge that I have, and I won't speak on behalf of anybody else on the council, the challenge I have is, do we utilize operational dollars to fund things that should have been done a while ago, or do we take care of the COLA? So I would enjoy listening to your response to that question.
I know that we purchased that property at Ravenwood some time ago, as you mentioned. We have recently completed a master plan in December for that property. And I understand, just as you've mentioned, that Metro is in a fiscally compromised position, and we have included a request for funding to fund that master plan for Ravenwood in the CIB. And I understand your dilemma. I understand your dilemma in regard to COLAs and what becomes a priority for our city, and understand that you have tough decisions to make. But our department would look forward to moving forward on implementing the master plan for Ravenwood, though we understand it has taken some time to come to fruition.
So then I'm going to ask this question. How did Ravenwood, after we purchased that prior to dealing with something at the fairgrounds, how is it that we spend money at the fairgrounds now, and we spent millions out there, and we avoided, and we did not even acknowledge that Donaldson and Hermitage, and I'm going to say Old Hickory for that matter, existed. How exactly, when we talk about priorities, how does that work, if I may ask?
I would say that there were some obligations in relation to the Ravenwood property that I can recall. I think we were paying someone out, the previous owner or something, paying that out and finishing that off. In terms of the fairgrounds coming online, we were aware that that was a city project, and we started to participate in that, not trying to neglect the Donaldson, Hermitage, Old Hickory area. Certainly, we have always had plans to complete the master plan and implement the master plan as we still do now.
Okay, well, so here's what I would like to know. If we reach a dilemma and we're trying to find another $1 million, maybe $2 million in operational expenditures for this coming year to accommodate the COLA, can you provide us with where that would come from? Because we don't have a park out in our area, hadn't had one, so it's not something we would miss. So, Madam Chair, I'm going to ask if they would please provide us with where we could make cuts. And I realize this is not going to be a popular question, but who cares? Because quite frankly, what's not popular is us not honoring our word on the things that we have said we were going to do. And so therefore, I mean, we've had this property for years and not accommodated it and not dealt with folks out in the Donaldson, Hermitage, Old Hickory area. And so therefore, I'm going to ask you if you would accommodate us on how perhaps we cut, I'll even drop it down to $250,000, $500,000, million, $2 million in operational expenses, because I think it's a wrong time now, unfortunately, to be bringing us online when we're hitting this crisis with regards to finances in the city. Thank you, Chair.
It's noted. I'll get that to you, Director Odom. You can go ahead and respond.
And I just want to respond. We will certainly get that information to you, but want to make it clear that that's any kinds of scenarios with those types of reductions will impact the public heavily.
So I'm going to respond back, if I may. On our side of town, we've not been impacted on anything that you guys have done on the property that has been out there for years. Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilman. Council Lady Dow.
Thank you. I was just going to mention it was 2012 that we acquired Ravenwood at $8.2 million.
Thank you.
Just for the record. I just had a couple of questions and then a comment. On you mentioned about like the revenues generated through people using the facilities, the recreation facilities. How is that accounted for? I mean, is it all put in one general fund, or is it?
It's deposited to the general fund.
So how does that work when it comes to and I'm not going to get into capital budget, but I know at some point in time we have to make some replacements to the equipment and so forth out there. And I'm just wondering, has any consideration been made to creating GLs for the different recreation centers and allowing the dollars that come to that center be allocated to that center to replace the equipment?
That would certainly be, that's a good idea, and that would be something we'd have to work out with the finance department. Normally what we do is make requests for 4% funding to make those replacements.
Right. And one of the things I've noticed is that, as you probably already know, the Southeast Center is heavily utilized, and we have a lot of the companies around there that use the facilities because they do not, we do not have a gym nearby, so they're using our recreation center. And there's going to become a need probably more immediate than some of the other rec centers because of the high utilization of replacing a lot of the equipment. And in fact, we could use more equipment out there because we have 11 new companies that are utilizing our community center during the daytime, which is great. And I would like to see a GL set up so that dollars that are utilized for our Southeast Community Center are kept at the community center. I've asked a couple of years ago about putting up some fans on the playground and several other things, and I've noticed other playgrounds have been funded, equipment been replaced, and I want to see some improvements there due to the high utilization. So if we could work on that this upcoming year, we're able to, encourage people to use our center and have dollars to replace some of that equipment, because I know that's going to come down the pipeline really soon for us.
And we'll work on that where we can. I would say that the grounds out at Southeast Community Center are operated by General Services, so.
Right, yeah, I understand that. And does that also include, how does it work? Are you able to explain when it comes to like maintenance of the facility? Or is there any type of chargeback, or how do we allocate to general service out of your budget for maintenance of the grounds for the rec center and
Well,
parks?
it's a part of the internal service fee
Okay.
that General Services charges as a central service department.
So parks do not have like grass cutters or people to maintain the lawn. It's just done all through general service.
No. Particularly at Southeast, we do have a consolidated maintenance division that is responsible for parks across the county. But at Southeast, we are not the property owners, so we do not maintain that property.
Okay. And I will, I appreciate Councilman Glover's comment, because I'm equally as committed to seeing that we compensate our employees. But I will say for the record that the residents out in Southeast and Antioch area, we're not willing to forego our operation dollars and put back into the fund. We have waited I would say 2 decades to have some green space. And as people on this council know, we're the only area of the city that's really been accepting affordable housing and multi-family dwellings in a mass number. In fact, I have 43 apartment complexes in my district with several more coming. Our city, unlike a lot of cities, require apartments now to pay fees for green space. So there's no green space for a lot of these places. And we've seen a tremendous amount of our tax dollars spent down here in the core of the city creating green spaces for people in high density areas. And very little to none has been spent preserving green space out in our Southeast area. I do know with Ravenwood, just for the record, that part of the agreement during the Dean's administration was the Greenways for Nashville, and also the Conservation Fund were supposed to start working on creating additional revenues to go toward funding and getting Ravenwood started. And one of the things we've done in our area with regard to Southeast Park, and you may know this, we've started a friends group. I happen to be the treasurer of it, and we've had engagement with 11 companies and a lot more in our area to help subsidize the funding and programming of our park, and we're ready to get started. So I would like to move forward with our green space. We're looking forward to having it, and however we can fund it, we may need to look at another area to cut. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council Lady Dow. Vice Chair Schulman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I remembered a couple of questions. First, and I was trying to do it on my phone, but is there I assume, a map, probably on the website, that you can look at all the parks and also all the community centers at one place at one time? Okay. All right. So I just couldn't pull it up when I was just reaching for it. The second thing is, so do you know how many vacancies you have currently right now, full-time employee vacancies you have in the park system?
Full-time vacancies, we have 35. I think maybe the document that you all have says.
It says 48.
Yeah.
So that's what I was looking at.
There's some discrepancy there. We do have 35, and those are in various stages of the recruiting and hiring process.
Okay, so of those 35, they're not frozen, you're actually trying to fill them?
Well, most of them we are trying to fill. Some are deferred until FY19. And if you remember last year, I think we had a conversation about this, and one of our cost-saving techniques in the department has been to maintain vacancies for certain periods of time, and that helps us meet the bottom line budget and to stay within budget.
All right, so, I know that process. I know that, if you hold positions and you can use it to help balance, and I get that. At some point, and it's just not you all, but it's probably most of the departments, there's probably going to have to be some understanding of what we can fill and what we can't if we're trying to balance.
Right.
And what, if we're all going to go through this painful process of tightening our belts, we got to figure out what we can live without.
Right.
And so I know that some positions probably going to be, probably not going to be able to fill in order to balance. The question is, can you fill any of them? I know you're going to need some of it, but the question is, which ones can you live without if we have to get that far? The second question, or the third question, has to do with that same sheet that you've got. So now I'm confused, and you may not be able to answer it today, but if you look at the sheet that we got, it was sent out, I think, to everybody. It's the vacancies in the number of full-time employee positions and then the positions budgeted. For 2018, according to the sheet, budgeted positions was 539, and the budgeted full-time employee positions for fiscal year 2018 was 474.27. I'm not sure how you can get .27 out
Well,
of
yeah,
a
and
person.
yeah, because that, I don't, well, me either.
Sure, because according to our budget, it's 1,366 positions that were budgeted in fiscal year 2018. So what's the,
Right, and many of those would be seasonals and pooled positions. So positions like guest instructors that come on board as needed, maybe at fitness centers or the arts center. So all of those are included in that position count.
so I figured that was part of it. It just doesn't match up. The numbers aren't matching up, so we probably need to go back and try to work that out.
I agree.
The last question would be, okay, so I get that. I figured it was seasonal stuff, but for fiscal year 2018, budgeted full-time employee positions, according to the document that we have in front of us, it's 652 positions, but according to the sheet that we got, it was 474 budgeted positions. So
474 budgeted FTEs.
yeah, according to the sheet that we got,
Yeah, the sheet that you got.
it's
says-
474. So I'm just trying to figure out, and it may be that you
Yeah.
need to work with finance
Yeah,
and
that-
figure
that
out,
is Definitely a discrepancy.
because obviously there's a discrepancy in there someplace.
Sure.
So I figured that, I just saw it, and it's like, wait a minute, I don't get it. So if you all can work with finance and figure out what the right numbers are, then I would appreciate it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Council Lady Johnson, Karen Johnson.
Thank you, Chair Vercher, Director Odom, and Assistant Director Tim Nash. And I'm just learning about you, Miss Cindy Harrison, taking Miss Shane Dennison's role. I was so caught up with juggling so many things, I somehow missed that retirement. And so I'm looking forward to working with you with Greenways. Congratulations on joining the Parks family.
Thank you.
But Director Odom, I want to commend you and your entire staff. I see board member that I served with, Stan Fossick. Thank you for being here. And I think we have a new board member here as well. And what's your name again? Terry Newsom. Okay. And so thank you for being here. And but anyway, thank you to you for your leadership and all of the hardworking people of Metro Parks. One of the things I want to share with the viewing audience is, as a former board member with Parks, is that you all do an incredible amount with little. You have one of the smallest percentages of the entire Metro budget, but yet all 35, yet 40 council members, to include the at-large, pool at Metro Parks because it affects everybody's quality of life in such a tremendous way. So your fiscal leadership, Director Odom, is certainly appreciated given the tight constraints of what you have to work within to provide so many services to so many people. I think people don't realize that Metro Parks only gets 4% of the budget. 4%, that's a little tiny little piece. Education gets 40. Public safety gets 21%. You get 4. And here we are saying what you're not doing when it's tremendous about what you are doing with the little that you're given. If there was any way that we can increase the budget for your department, we would do so. I would, in a heartbeat, try to find some money in this budget because you're doing too much with the little that you have. So I wanted to say that. I also want to give kudos to your staff for catching Southeast Nashville up in terms of access to amenities and parks. When we first started on the council, myself and Council Lady Dowell and others here, and Councilman Bedney, we were screaming for help because we're one of the largest areas of the county and we had nothing. And so you all have worked tremendously hard. And I think that people have to understand that a lot of those decisions are because we, along with our constituents, came before the park board, which puts those priorities in the master plan. The master plan guides what you do, and therefore you don't show favoritism to certain areas of the county outside of that master plan. So I thank you. I didn't have anything that I wanted to specifically point out of your budget, except that you are doing a lot, and I want to commend you for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Lady Johnson. Councilman Hager, question as it relates to operating. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair Lady Virtue. Thank you, Ms. Monique, for being here. Ms. Harrison, thank y'all for being here. On this operating budget, as I understand, are we still maintaining some of the school properties around Nashville?
We are.
Do you know how many we're doing at this point in time?
I don't know the number, but particularly the playgrounds is what.
The playgrounds themselves? Okay. And I guess my question is, with adding on all the parks we are having now, we're going to be able to maintain them next year with this type of budget?
We will do the very, very best we can, Councilman.
Okay. All right. And as I understand, if I'm able to get the Ohicker Community Center redone, will that staffing stay about the same, or it'll be down the road, or what do you think it'll be?
It will probably stay about the same. If it becomes a regional,
Right.
it will need additional staff,
Yeah.
and of course,
I think that was the plan, to make it
Okay.
a regional
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of the situation there.
Sure.
Another question, how many of the community centers do we have that are like Old Hickory that are not ADA compliant?
Do you know?
Do you know, Tim?
All of them, probably with the exception of Old Hickory, are ADA compliant. You know, we inherited Old Hickory, and after the 2002 countywide Parks and Greenways Master Plan, one of the priorities was making all of the existing facilities compliant. So Old Hickory's an outlier.
Okay, well, and that's what happened when I took over. It was not in the master plan, and it's took me 2 or 3 years to do that and get it into the plan. And also, is there still a plan to put a greenway up Stones River, the Crooked Branch Park? Is that still in the making? Yes. Okay. Thank y'all for being here. Appreciate all your hard work.
Thank you so much, Councilman Hager. Councilman Bedney.
Thank you, Chair. This is a question for Mr. Jameson. Will the park police be required to enforce the state law that was approved by not signed by the governor yesterday?
All local officials are expected to comply with state and federal law to the extent arrests are made in parks. That's typically contacted. My understanding is the park police immediately contact the Metro Police Department to make arrests for extra park requirements. In other words, if it doesn't have anything to do with the operation of the park, they defer to the Metro Police.
So I want to ask Ms. Lomax to please look into the additional cost of enforcing the state law that was passed, both in terms of training everybody on immigration law, so we don't end up getting sued for arresting the wrong people, and also to have the additional police force to be able to follow up with that. I believe that law kicks in January, so we probably should be trained before then. I wouldn't like to be arrested walking on the park because somebody assumes I'm undocumented. So if we could get that information and that training added to the budget as soon as possible so we can meet the state law, that would be great. I want to second what Councilman Glover said about you not having enough money to do this. I hate for you have to be burdened with having to do immigration enforcement, but that's was thrust upon us by the state, so we have no choice. And I apologize that you have to do even more with less, but that's just now part of the job. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Bedney. Councilor Van Rees.
I'm going to have to swallow on that one. How many, I think all the parks have a transit stop, yes? So if you want to get to any park, is there a way to get there on transit? Do you know the?
No.
What percentage of parks in metro government do not have yet a way to get there on the bus? Do you know? Can we find that out?
Probably find it out, yeah.
Seems like I know a lot of what we would call the major parks do, but I'm wondering if there's, one of the things that.
We don't have that information, but
Okay,
we can get it.
let's
Yeah.
find that out so we
Excellent
can
point.
see what we can do with MTA to make sure that people have access, because I know in District 8, when we go to the park, we have to go to a different district, which is fine. I mean, right? I love going to Cedar Hill, I love going to Shelby, I love going to all different kinds of places, and I think that as district council members, we can get, and appropriately so sometimes, very stuck on our own four borders, as opposed to realizing that the people that we represent go all over the county. So I want to thank you for continuing to do good work at parks that don't happen to be in my district, because I know that's where we go. Again, for phase 1 of Oakwood Park, thanks for getting that underway. And we look forward to more collaborations through the trail-oriented development procedure along Ellington Parkway, and with other private investments, perhaps over near the Solar Park, and continue to talk about what might happen at Station Boulevard. So there's lots of things in the works that we continue to find both public and private folks to be able to continue the process through grants and through private support as well. But I just wanted to thank you for that, and I did want to just make sure that we had some sort of knowledge as to how people might get to any particular park on public transit. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Lady. Council Lady Henderson. There you go.
Thank you, Chair Vercher. Thank you, Director Odom. My question was in program revenue. So I'm looking both at GSD and special purpose and sort of adding those up. Can you speak to kind of the differentiation between the special purpose fund and the GSD fund? I mean,
Sure.
should we just look at both of those as a collective whole, or how are y'all?
No,
Knows up.
sure. GSD fund are those revenues that are collected and returned to the general fund. So
Right.
that would be primarily from our revenue-producing facilities, golf courses, Sportsplex, Wave Country, Parthenon, locations like that, and some from community centers. And so in the special revenue fund, that's special purpose funds, those are primarily grants, intergovernmental arrangements, and things like that.
Okay, I appreciate the clarification. In the grants space, I see that you just have roughly budgeted kind of, $12,000, and then on the special purpose side, about 9,000, or you're reducing that, anticipating that. Can you speak to, just internal to your department, kind of grant seeking work and how you all go about doing that? I know we've seen that somewhat in the greenway space, looking at federal funding. But can you all speak to, I see that mostly in the greenways, where we're looking for those federal matches. But at the state level, as far as kind of parks partnership and so forth, do you feel that we are that we have the staff necessary, or that we are kind of targeting those grant funding opportunities related to parks?
I'm glad you mentioned that, and that's exactly where I was going to go. In terms of the divisions in our department, when we do become aware of funding that we may qualify for, we do pursue that after we certainly vet it internally. However, we do not have a staff person that is completely devoted to grant funding. If we did have that, I think we could increase our grant dollars. So where we're able to apply and become aware of funding opportunities, we certainly pursue those.
Do you think your department would be able, I mean, with without kind of being negative or disparaging, but kind of looking in that space of, what was maybe a grant opportunity that you all were not able to avail yourself of just because you really didn't have the staff to be tracking that? I mean, it seems to me that, if you just kind of look across the grant-making landscape, there is a fair amount. And I know we have done some good kind of partnership work with family foundations and so forth through some of our friends groups. But I just wonder if you all could somewhat assess, just from an operational budget perspective and supporting the work that you do, how much kind of grant dollars are out there in the Tennessee kind of space that we could be availing ourselves of. I know you all put an inordinate amount of time this year into supporting a grant application that was, thousands and thousands of pages per state requirements, and that had to be kind of spread across staff, and I'm grateful for that. But I do wonder, it's just kind of that trade-off, right, of having somebody devoted to that grant space, understanding there's implications there of an FTE or part-time, but what could we potentially garner if we were being more strategic about seeking out any and every grant funding opportunity for our parks? So just wanted to put that on your radar screen. I don't know, do you think that's something you could assess within the context of this budget year, or would that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Particularly based on a status quo budget, but I will say that thank you for your input and insight. One of the things when we are kind of evaluating whether or not to apply for a grant is we kind of look at the amount, if a match is required, and what type of administrative costs, kind of if it's really worth it to move forward with it. And so we would certainly love to have someone devoted to that, but we'll certainly continue to look for additional funding opportunities that can support the department.
I appreciate that. If you'll just help us understand how maybe we can help y'all be more proactive in that regard. We have several golf courses, wonderful golf courses in District 34. And I know kind of over the years we had seen golf revenue going down, but of late, especially on our 9-hole courses with people a little more busy and not really having time to play 18, we've seen that revenue going back up. Can you speak to kind of breaking out, do you know how much the kind of golf revenue is as a part of this number that you're showing here in the operational budget? And is that continuing to go up, or has that leveled off, or?
Our golf, I think it's probably leveling off. Our golf revenue is, I have the number here, is probably 80% of our revenue budget. That's where most of the revenue comes from. So golf courses, then Parthenon and Sportsplex are the 3 top.
Parthenon, that was my next question. What are the 3 top ones? Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilor Lada. And lastly, Councilman Glover.
Thank you, Chair. And I realize I'm not popular. I get that piece of it. And frankly, let me be very clear, that doesn't bother me. What bothers me, and I'm going to ask you this question, 1,366 budgeted positions last year, 1,366 budgeted positions this year. Are any of your folks upset because they thought they were going to get a 3% cost of living adjustment?
Yes.
Are they upset about that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they are. I want to be very clear.
Yes.
They are upset about that.
Yes.
And so we have to make hard decisions. And I want to apologize for asking the hard questions, because we have to go through this entire budget and try to determine how can we accommodate those things. A promise was made, and we were a body that joined in on that promise. Yes. So again, I'm not going to apologize for it. I warned us when we bought Ravenwood, and then we bought the farmland behind it, that we couldn't afford it, but we did it anyway. And we're now years down the road, and we still don't have a park out there. And so I wonder, can we actually accommodate doing those things? And I'm not asking for response. The response that I was asking for was, are your folks upset about not getting the cost of living adjustment? And I just want to be very clear. I want everybody in the room to hear this. They are, correct?
Correct.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you, Director Odom, for everything that your staff does and everyone that serves this great city. That concludes your budget hearing. As they are stepping down the library, you can begin working your way down to begin your hearing.